So anyway, that scene just sort of peters out after that. We never really see Steve escape or anything. He just kind of shows up at a restaurant meeting Alexa, and wow, look at that blank, expressionless face. This is the first extended scene from this actress where she should at least be vaguely interested, but instead we just get total surprise! So Steve gets suspicious that Alexa isn't more upset, which means that the actress is simply confused, evasive and bored.
What is it? I'm just trying to figure out why this isn't more upsetting for you.
In response to this, Alexa erupts into fury.
Tell me how I should feel about Charlie's death.
Listen, lady, you better start showing more emotion, or else I'm getting my machete.
That's horrible.
Ah! Okay. I'm calm. I'm calm.
Wow, City of Fear, my favorite movie!
Right, back to the film anyway.
This investigating is dangerous. In Bulgaria, the walls have ears.
That still doesn't explain why the government is so interested in Charlie's research.
Well, of course it does. He was working on ear medicine for wolves. Cut to our intrepid duo arriving at Charlie's place, only to find it trashed.
Animals.
You still think it was an accident?
Didn't you hear her? She thinks it was animals.
Yeah, Charlie always wanted the best.
Yeah, even as a kid he said he'd die rich. It was in junior high. I remember we were taking a math test. Charlie was cheating from the kid in front of me.
Wow, that's really interesting. Oh, a
Staring at
coat.
him, I couldn't believe it.
And with that thrilling piece of character development included, the two head out again.
We met at the club.
We then get Alexa's backstory with Charlie, and
so soon.
is she actually falling asleep in her own story? That's pretty impressive.
Love is what you make of it.
Now that sounds like Charlie.
Well, he must have a really feminine voice then. I can't wait to not hear it, because he's definitely dead and not really obviously alive or anything. God. The two drive out, presumably so Alexa can go to her apartment, but Steve makes an important discovery and asks Alexa for help.
I need your help. Some clean money, information, some inquiries, a copy of the autopsy report. I need to find that guy Emil Boeth.
Wow, you don't ask for a lot, do you, Steve? At any rate, Alexa agrees to help.
Look, I'll call you later, okay?
Good luck.
And with that emotional goodbye, the two separate temporarily. We cut to our next scene, and despite having asked for Alexa's help finding Emil Boeth, Steve immediately shows up at the place he works at without any help whatsoever from Alexa. When Steve asks the nurse about Dr. Boeth, she tells him he hasn't seen him in days. But when he asks about seeing Charlie's office, a clearly evil doctor appears. Anyway, Dr. Evilstein tells Steve to leave, but Steve pretends that he knows more than he does about the project. So Dr. Evilstein throws his arse out and calls some goons to kill him, giving us another excellent use of the dramatic taxi music from earlier. Oh, wow. That's fantastic. He even has to hold the camera himself. The bad guys catch him and we get some shots that are supposed to be him throwing him into walls, presumably some kind of super strength. He has to run away when thugs with guns show up, magically teleporting him to a marketplace. He probably could slip away at this point, but if he did that, we wouldn't get shots like this. We also wouldn't get to see a thoroughly unimpressed looking audience standing around either. Once again, the guys with guns show up, shots are fired, and people spit Fanta fruit twist out of their mouths. Then they all fight using pipes off what I guess must be some kind of lead pipe stall. We cut away, which leads me to believe the guys with guns just randomly decided to join in the melee combat. Steve heads back to his room and that happens. Not the most polite way of kidnapping someone ever. Steve wakes in a room with the Colonel from before, with some goons. Plus he has some things in his hands that we can't quite make out. The Colonel tells him that Charlie might have been involved with the Russian mafia, and to leave the case alone before leaving him in his room under guard. But get this. A guy brings him some food, and Steve knocks him out and leaves in his uniform. I know they're flirting with that woman, but they not even glance at Steve. So having made the escape, he heads to Alexa's place to ask her for more information. However, Alexa doesn't give Steve much information, so he gets angry at her, causing a heated discussion. Well, with Alexa involved, it's not really heated. More half-baked. I mean, Alexa pulls out all the stops
Look at
there,
my place.
nearly approaching an
My
emotion.
Get out!
At any rate, during the fight,
Stop.
it turns out that Charlie used to hit Alexa, which causes Steve to show concern for her. Seeing this, Alexa finally lets on what she knows. The next morning, Alexa tells Steve she intends to go with him, despite Steve's fears for her. With the two back together, they decide to see Steve's BFF from earlier, Bill.
Don't look at
It looks like he's about to tell them what he knows, but a car speeds around the corner and begins firing at them. Steve and Alexa hit the deck immediately, but Bill goes into poor writing and simply seems to sit there before being shot in the head, apparently from a completely different direction than where the car was. Several more men pursue Steve, who seems to be sticking to the speed limit. They also find a shotgun in the back of the car. Alexa fires off a shot and then this happens. I cannot even begin to describe what had just happened there. She hits a car, which causes it to skid, which forces a truck to slide out of control as well. So one of the other cars does the same thing from a time to die. The whole thing being made more confusing by the changing positions of the vehicles and the fact the motorbike disappeared from one of the shots as well. I have no idea how they can put this into words.
Good shooting.
Good shooting? Fuck you! The whole thing's made even stupider with the bikers just driving away. Not even stopping to check if the car they were chasing got away. I don't know. I mean, were either of those cars driven by innocents? I guess I just feel sorry for the guy who magically appeared in the jumping car before it blew up. So with that insanity out of the way, Steve and Alexa break into Charlie's office to hunt for clues. But they can't figure out Charlie's password until Steve remembers that Citizen Kane was his favourite film, and it turns out to be his password. Steve blunders through Charlie's computer, somehow deleting a folder called Formulas rather than opening it. But Dr. Evilstein is alerted to their presence because he looks into a Palantir. He just generally finds Charlie's door suspicious. I mean, they were really talking loudly, but he looked suspicious long before that. Anyway, Steve finds some products with progress meters showing how far they are from completion. One is completed and Steve checks it out, finding it to be a product called Blue Mist. Well, he doesn't find out immediately. Despite the display clearly saying Blue Mist 100%, Steve has to type some buttons before he can find out which product is at 100%. Alexa then exposits the following.
It's true. Blue Mist. It's a new drug in Bulgaria. They say 100% addictive.
I'm sorry, but 100% addictive? What does that even mean? Does that mean 100% of people are addicted to it? Or does it mean 100% of the ingredients are addictive? Of course we never find out. Instead we get a pattern of Blue Mist DNA structure implying it's alive.
Christ.
Also apparently a cell looks like a mosaic made of jelly.
Christ.
But Steve deciphers this child's drawing to mean it attaches itself to human DNA! And then does what?
Charlie's
Not
masterpiece.
gonna explain, huh?
I don't understand that.
Well, anyway, this science mumbo-jumbo is too important to be shared with the world. So Dr. Evilstein starts shooting at them. They're subdued by Alexa, and for all I know, he burns in the lab because we never see him again. So the two run outside, only to be confronted by martial artist security guards. Apparently hospital security is a really big deal in Bulgaria. Steve defeats them quickly, and the two head on to Alexa showing him several Blue Mist addicts. Oh, the horror of this fictional drug! Damn you, science! You blow it up! Anyway, one of the addicts stabs Alexa, and nothing comes of this scene. Well, except another scene where Steve has to take care of her, in which she actually passes out at one point.
How long have I been?
2 days.
Seriously? I don't think it was even bleeding by the time they got back, and it's not like it really adds anything to the film. Anyway, the two argue about Charlie and whether he was a nice guy or not, with Alexa defending him.
25. He's using you. Like he uses all women.
Sofia is a cruel city. A city of fear. That's horrible.
Also, I'm not really sure whether he uses all women line comes from. I mean, Steve never said about another incident with Charlie, and if he knew about one, you'd have thought he'd have had a different attitude towards Charlie throughout this film. Oh yeah, we also now get a forced-in romance subplot that goes nowhere.